thank you all for coming to my technology training event. My name is Alicia Revis, teacher at St. James High School, and I am hosting a training on Google Drive as part of my graduate capstone class. So what I have done is created an agenda for all of us that I would like you to access at tinyurl.com/Revis TTE, and I've written it up on the boards for you. So it's tinyurl.com/Revis TTE. And then you'll also need to access your Google Drive. If you don't quite know how to access your Google Drive, I do have a quick tips link there for you. It should also prompt you to log in upon going to the TinyURL website. Of the training, but what I wanted to do, since I know that this is after school time and that it's on your own time kind of thing, I wanted to somehow relate it to a purpose of some things that are going on here at school. So of course my focus already is going to be Google Drive, but I wanted to tie it in with our alternative school students since it has been such a major change with the alternative school and how we utilize and communicate with our students. So I do have, luckily for me, I do have an alternative school student that I can show you how I've been organizing my files with, and how that he has been submitting work back to me and I've been communicating with him. So this is kind of the order of events that we'll go through. And then if you have any questions during the event, if you go to Poll Ev or click on this hyperlink there, you can ask questions and then to the Google Drive through shared folders that my student would have to access. And then upon completion of their assignments, they would have to then return to their Google Drive folder and upload their assignment. So while I know that it's a headache for a lot of us and that, it's not what we're used to again, it could be and would be really beneficial to use should anything with alternative school change like it has. We're still able to communicate with those students. So my alternative school student has a math, science, and a social studies class in addition to mine. And what I have done that really seemed to work for me that's a little bit different than what some other teachers are doing is I have organized my Google Drive to maybe look a little bit different than what you're maybe used to seeing. So I've kind of created some subfolders within my Google Drive, and it just helps me stay organized. And with your alternative school student, they're going to send you a folder with the student's name. So the second folder over is Chris Anderson's Google Drive folder. And if I go ahead and access his shared folder, this is what the alternative school has created. And I can go ahead and zoom in just so you can see just a little bit better.
They created that folder for you?
Yes, they created the folder. Ian Redout would have sent you an email with an access link that you would have clicked on the actual file folder. And then it would have asked and prompted you to log into Google, in which it would have populated to your Google Drive. Does anyone have an alternative school student besides me? You do? Okay. So what I'll show you what that email looked like and how to actually add it back to your Google Drive, but he would have sent you an access link for you to access your student, and the folder looked and will appear like this. And then what they were instructed to do, I'm not sure if it was the teacher or if it was Mr. Redout himself, went through and created folders for the student based on their schedule. And so for my particular class, Google Apps, it's a skinny, so of course this particular student has more than just the standard 4 classes. He's enrolled as skinnies as well. So within my folder, Google Apps, I have actually organized mine into subfolders where I've created it by week. And the reason that I did this is because I feel like if I just put a whole bunch of work in there, he's not going to know where to go, what to do first. So I organized it like this, so if he's at school on 8/25, he would know exactly which folder to click on in terms of work. I know that I don't always get to this right at the end of every Friday, or sometimes I find myself going in on Sunday night and making sure that my alternative school student stuff is there, or even, unfortunately, sometimes Monday before I'm like, oh, I forgot to put his work in there. But So organizing it by week is what I have chosen to do just because it gives me a little bit more organization within the folders. So if I go from the beginning of the year, you can then kind of see I've uploaded the files that are all stored in my Google Drive. So it really makes it easy to pull them over into the Google files. So I've included his course syllabus, and then his Sharkbait, which is something probably you all do, is actually a shared Google Doc. So all he has to do is click on it, put his changes in. The untitled form would be the name of your test. So if I said example test 1, okay, that would be your form's title. And if you click to the upper right hand corner, it kind of changes the title so it's organized in your drive as well. And then your form description, I would always imagine it as directions for the students taking your quiz or your test. So it might be, if it's a multiple choice piece, maybe you want to say, please answer all questions below to the best of your ability, whatever. And then what Google Forms does is by default, it gives you one question to start with, which is your untitled question here. Once you've clicked on your untitled question, I tell my students this too, remember Google Forms defaults to a multiple choice question. You can send it via email. This is usually one that I only send to if I'm sending to one particular person or maybe a group of people that I have their emails right at my fingertips. You can send them a link, which is what we're going to use, or you can embed using HTML code. A lot of times websites will use this when they want somebody to fill out a survey on their actual website. If you don't ask students their name as a question, you can choose the option to collect their email address, which is going to require them to log in. And then on the responses, you'll be able to see who responded based on their email address. So I would always, and I always do, collect email addresses because as we know it, students forget to put their names on everything. So I always enable to collect emails. And then you have an option for response receipts that lets them get a response back of what they actually submitted to you. And then requiring sign-in for quizzes and tests, I would definitely recommend doing this so that students are logging in with their Horry County Schools domain versus their own personal email address. But that is default by there. It lets you restrict to Horry County Schools only. And then, of course, if it's a quiz or test, you always want to limit it to one response unless you let them take another response. But it's going to recognize their email address and kick them back out if they've already participated. Help you move some of those files over, and I can help hands-on kind of with that. And other than that, the agenda is going to stay live for you. And like I said, you have the Google Drive handout is down there at the bottom. And then under that as well, in case you're just somebody who likes to learn things on your own, I have free Google Drive tutorials that takes you step by step by step by step about what you can do in Google Drive. And so it goes as far as creating Google documents, uploading files, and they have videos there that you can use if you're somebody that likes to explore and learn on your own rather than in a big group or having somebody saying click here, click here, click here. This would take you kind of through some steps on your own.
Can we pause it?
Yeah, so it appears just like a YouTube video. So if I were clicking here, it appears just like a
Google Drive
YouTube.
is a lot more than just a free online storage service. It also allows you to create and edit a variety of different files.
So then I pause it wherever I want. So that works. So again, if you want help moving some of your files from your H drive to your Google Drive, I can kind of show you how that works, and I'll do that more like on an individual basis. But if no one really has any questions, and that kind of wraps us up for today.